Works and Brewing. I'm Randy. This is a channel that's all about home distillation and brewing. Today is Bourbon Day. We're going to be using cornmeal and some rye and some 6-row barley. So our first step is what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to put the corn. I put in about 180 degrees of water in here. We're going to put the corn in and we have to let it sit for about an hour to gel up. Okay, so I'm going to start stirring in the cornmeal. It will look like a porridge, pretty thick when it's all done. And then we can check for, so we'll have to stir all this in. Get it all mixed up in with the water. Okay, so what we're going to do is let this sit for about an hour, and the warm water will actually help to break down the cell walls inside the corn. Okay, I'm back. It's been about an hour, and we'll see if we got starch in our corn. Take a little sample. Okay, I put a little bit of iodine in there and it is pure black. So that means that the starches are released from the corn. And so what we'll do now is we will add in our grains. Okay, first we got to check our temperature. Okay, remember we put in about 180 degree water. And it has dropped to about 145. Okay, so with that, sometimes to drop down the temperatures, you can take an ice block, right? Make sure that you take some starch sand and spray it all down. You can put the ice block down into the mash to cool it down, but in this case we don't need to. Okay, so we'll be adding in our rye and our 2-row. And what the main purpose of this is to convert that starch into fermentable sugars, because of these malted grains contain enzyme, and that will convert the starch into sugar. If we did not want to use the grain, we could use, we could get some bottled. So that's that. Add in some rye. I always like to have rye. We'll stir that all up. Getting pretty thick.
Okay,
So the next step now is I'm going to put the lid on. It's at 145 degrees, so we'll leave the lid on it, maintain that temperature for about an hour, hour and 20 minutes. And then we'll do another iodine test and make sure that the sugars were converted, or the starches were converted over into sugars. Okay, so we'll be back in about an hour and 15, 20 minutes. Welcome back. It's been about an hour and a half. We're going to check, make sure our starch conversion is taking place. So let me get a little bit of sample. Take some iodine. Okay, yes it has. There's no black. It all basically went to like a brownish color, maybe blue, but no black. So a little purplish. So the conversion did take place. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to sparge this off into a fermentation bucket. Now, one thing I did forget to tell you before that we did do is you have to sanitize everything with Starch Sand, which I found it works the best. So what we'll do is we'll drain this out. We'll take some hot water and flush the sugars out of the corn and the grains. And then we'll collect up about 6 gallons of wash. And we'll be back. Okay, I collected about 6 gallons. And what I want to do now is check the specific gravity on there, so I need a couple drops on my refractometer. Let's see what we got. Okay, we are at 1.045. Okay, I would like to boost that up a little bit. So what I will do is I'm going to add a little bit of sugar to it, just to get the alcohol content boosted up, and I'll be back. Okay, I added about 6 pounds of table sugar to this. I wanted to get the alcohol boosted up just a little bit. Let's see what we got. We are at 1.092. I like that. That'd be very good. Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, it's in the fermentation bucket, I'm going to put a lid on it, and I'm going to put it in my fermentation room and let her cool down. Then I'll be adding yeast to it after it gets down to temperature. And then we'll move on to the next step. So as a recap of what we did is I used 8 or 9 pounds of cornmeal, 2 pounds of rye, and 2 pounds of 6-row. We took 180 degree water, put in the mash tun. We added the corn, which was cornmeal. So we let that sit in there for about an hour to gel up. So then after an hour, we added in the rye and the 6-row. because we need the amylase enzyme that's in that grain to start converting the sugars, the starches into sugars. So after an hour we added in the grain, so we gave it another hour and a half for that conversion to take place. We did an iodine test and we confirmed that it took place. So then we drained everything in the mash tun into fermentation bucket. We batch sparged all the grains. We got our grains in the corn to get all the sugars. We did have to add 6 pounds of table sugar to boost the alcohol up to 1.090 where we wanted. So the next step is it will cool down, we'll ferment it, and then we'll distill it is the next step. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the adventure.